Hello and welcome to About Iran for this video in which we will discuss the week in Iran, the weekdays, when the weekend is, and how the days of the week are named and things related to this. So basically, if you already watched my series about the numbers in Persian, you might be able to recognize that what we have here for the names in Persian is actually a number plus this new word written in black, which is called shanbe, and I will get back to that later. So basically, you can see here 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 for the days of the week, and then we have two other ones here, which is Friday and Saturday, which are a little special. And the reason that they are special is because in Iran, the weekend is not as we know it on Saturday and Sunday, but rather on Thursday and Friday. So basically the week in Iran starts on Saturday, which is why this one doesn't have a number. The word for Saturday doesn't have a number. But from then we start just adding numbers in front of this word for Saturday. All the way from 1 through 5. That is the days of the week in Iran, basically. And I will explain this and write them out for you in just a second. And then we have the special day, which is Friday, which has a completely different name. And this is actually called Jome. And I will get back to this later as well. And basically, this is the big day for prayers in the mosques and like the big religious day off in Iran, which is corresponding to our Sunday. So this is like the end of the week. And then on the next day, which again is Saturday, the new week starts with Shanbe. All right, so that's enough explanation. Let's actually get into seeing how we spell this and how to, what the logic here is. So Saturday, this magical word here, Shanbe. 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 And you might think that this word just means day, but actually it doesn't. It is basically just a word to describe like, the day of the week essentially. So it's actually a pretty simple system because you just take this word and then you add like a number in front of it to describe what day it is. And the only exception is of course Friday, which has its own word. But yeah, Saturday is just Shanbe without a number in front of it. And if you followed my number series on how to count in Persian, then you will recognize that the next day here, Sunday, is called Yek, which is 1, and Shanbe. So like we take Saturday, add 1 day to it, so we have the day after Saturday is Yek Shanbe. And again, just to repeat this, the week in Iran starts on Saturday, and that is why we start counting this way, which might seem counterintuitive from a Western perspective, but it is actually very logical when your week starts on Saturday. So the next day, Monday, which is of course the start of our week, is called Do, which is the word for 2, and Shanbe. And actually, a little fun side note here is that you might recognize Dushanbe as also being the name of the capital of Tajikistan. And you're actually entirely correct because Farsi is also the language in Tajikistan. And that capital is named after a big market that was on Mondays back in the days. And that is why it is called Dushanbe. Just as interesting little side note here, sorry. So Monday is Dushanbe. So the second day, basically. While Tuesday is then Se Shanbe. Se, which is 3. And Shanbe. So the third day. Then we have Wednesday, which is the 4th day. So we take the word for 4, which is Chahar. And again, Shanbe. Chahar-Shanbe. And then we get to the first day of the Iranian weekend, which is Thursday. And first day is the 5th day. So it is panch, which is the word for 5, and shambe. So panch jambe. And then we get to the last day of the week, also the last day of the Iranian weekend, which, as we saw, has a very unique name. It is not related to shambe, but instead is its own thing, which is jome. 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 And this, if you go traveling to Iran, basically you will encounter this word a lot, because many of the mosques in all the different cities are called the Jome Mosque, so the Friday mosque basically. And of course, another thing to be aware of if you go traveling to Iran is that Thursdays and Fridays are the weekends, so those days everything will be closed. And yeah, that is the weekdays in Persian. So you only have to remember 2 words to actually be able to memorize all the weekdays. You must remember shambe and jome. But when you have shambe, the 6 other days are pretty easy, because they're just shambe, yek shambe, do shambe, se shambe, chahar shambe, pan shambe, and then jome. So shambe and the words 1 to 5, and jome is all you need. But as I said, shambe is not actually the word for day in Persian. Let's cover these terms here, which are kind of essential. So basically the actual word for day is not shambe, but instead the word rus. Rus, which can also be spelled in this way, depending on like how you learned it and who you ask. I prefer this first way of using just the letter U instead of the double O. But you can use both, and different people prefer different styles. So this just means day, and as you can see, it's not related to shambe at all. Then the word for a whole week is hafte. Hafte. And if you saw my video on counting in Persian, you will recognize that hafte is pretty close to the word for 7, which was just haft. So basically a week is a take on the word 7. So 7 days in a week, it makes sense, yeah? And a weekend is called akhare hafte. And I know it's getting a little technical right now, and that you might not understand this or be able to use it for much, but basically the word akhare means end or finished, or like the last. So it's the last or the end of hafte, which is week. So it's the end of the week, weekend. That makes sense. So that is the days and the week in Persian and in Iran in general. Thank you for watching, and click like if you like this video and subscribe. And yeah, see you in the future.